Hello, you. We're wearing the super shades, the Mr. Cool shades from the optometrist. I'm leaving the VA clinic here. Had to make an emergency visit to the eye doctor. Yeah, the last time we were like this was when I ate those sand fleas. I don't know if you guys remember me eating the sand fleas, and shortly after eating the sand fleas, I started having those bright flashes of light going off in my eyes. And I had contacted the VA to say, hey, what's going on? And they had told me to go in, but nothing was up, so we were good. All was good. Well, that was like, I think, my right eye mostly. But then, like, over the weekend, I noticed I was having flashes again, and I hadn't been eating the sand fleas. But this time it was along this side, my right eye. My left eye. It was on my left eye, all along the outer edges. And it looked like, what it looks like, for those of you who don't know what eye flashes look like, at least for me, what it looked like was, if you're just sitting there in the dark, in a house or something, and then a light. I had the flashes occurring last night. But the night before as well as last night. And what happened, I forget why I need to go here. No, just go straight here. So what happened was I saw the flashes and I noticed more floaters. Floaters, those little things that you see that look like, for me, they look kind of like translucent, although these new floaters look kind of darker, like almost black shapes. They look kind of like amoebas and stuff swimming around. When I was a kid, I had floaters, and I thought everybody saw them. I thought they were in the sky. I thought they were in the air. But it turns out the floaters are actually in your eyes. They're actually something that... No, it's the next one. So, the floaters, it turns out, are actually in your eyes on the clear part, and they move around. And they're not alive or anything, but they're just pieces of debris or whatever that has broken inside your eye. It's weird when you go through the eye doctor and he's talking about this stuff, because it's like your eye can actually see parts of itself. And what had happened was, when you get those flashes, they look like lightning going off in a detachment. It's where your retina rips off. And then what happens is if your retina detaches itself, it starts to fold in on itself. And it basically acts like a curtain and covers your vision. It's like, I guess you have like a little hole that you look out of. And your retina, if it detaches, it actually falls over the hole. So you see less and less and less. And it gets darker and darker. And then you can't see and you're blind. So what they try to do, this occurs a lot with people who are like me, very, very nearsighted. Like, you can't see very far. You need really strong prescription glasses and stuff. But there's a risk of you having retinal detachment. So basically, they had warned me and said, if it happens and stuff, make sure you contact us, because you want to go in right away. And the doctor will look and see if there's a retinal detachment occurring. Because if it's occurring, they got to rush you to a specialist, and they got to operate on you or something. They got to try to get the retina back up, get it back onto the eye or the wall. I don't know how it works. I don't know. I'm not an eye doctor. But basically, they have to put your retina back up so that you can see again. And if it detaches completely, there's a chance you could go blind. Really. So anyhow, I had those flashes, and I was like, well, I wasn't as freaked out the second time, because I knew it wasn't fleas, the sand fleas, because I hadn't been eating any more sand fleas. So I was like, well, and I knew what it was like because I had it happen before, so I wasn't really scared. But I was like, I better contact the VA, the eye doctor, try to get in touch with them and see if they want me to come in. And sure enough, as soon as I got in touch with them, they said, "Come on in." So I rushed off from work and went over there. And thankfully, the eye doctor looked at everything, checked it all out, and said that I'm good. He could actually see, when he was looking in my eye, he could see the floaters. I would tell him, I had new floaters. They were like moving around, floating around all over my eyeball. And it's kind of weird. It's like you're sitting there and you're looking and you see all these things moving around. Kind of like almost like they're kind of translucent, but they're kind of floating there. It's weird. And then when you move your eyes, they dart across. You feel the vision. So it's really, really weird. I got a big ass truck here. I'm trying to race to get onto the interstate. All right, he moved over. This little car, I guess it's a 4-cylinder. It doesn't accelerate very fast. Everybody's doing 80 miles an hour on the interstate. So you gotta get up to speed. I don't know if you can see a truck that just went by me. He was like in the slow lane, as he should be, but I was trying to merge on and he was gonna like ram me. That would have been bad. But yeah, he moved over. So anyhow, the good news is I'm not going blind. That's good. Although you said, if anything else happens, contact them again because they want to catch this stuff. For those of you who are middle age, this is stuff that can happen to you when you're probably 40 and 50 or older. And it's kind of scary. Here's the thing about it. It's subtle. It's like you don't even notice. I mean, you do notice, but you think you're imagining it. You think, did I just imagine that? Because it looks like a light, from a car or a flash photo, like someone took a photograph to the side of your face. And then you don't really know, you don't really think you saw it, but then it comes back again, it does it again, and then you might notice the floaters. So if that happens to you, you gotta contact an eye doctor right away, because most of the time, he was saying, it's not a detachment, some stuff is happening, but it's not, your retina coming off. But if it is your retina coming off, they need to know about it right away because, they try to save your vision, otherwise you go blind. So it's important to be aware of that. I was telling my son the other day, it's like, if you, having lived through life, I'm 55 now. I try to teach my son stuff so that hopefully his life is a little bit better. And what I would tell anyone younger than me right now, especially those who are still in their, I have some viewers who are probably in their 20s and 30s, do all the things you really want to do in your life before you hit 40 years old. Really. That is the one, I guess the one piece of advice, if you want to call it wisdom, that I would give to anyone. Would be for young people especially. If you're under 40 years old, and the younger you are, the better, that you get this advice early. Do all the important things in your life that you want to do while you are under 40 years old. While you're under 40 years old, do all that stuff. Because starting when you hit 40 years old, I was riding on the test trip thingy, so it was playing music. But it was kind of annoying trying to do a YouTube video with the music playing. They have these ridges on the road that you hit and it goes, nyeh, 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 and I don't know if it's playing music or whatever. I think it was playing music. Maybe one day we'll drive it and let the music play out and see what it actually plays. I don't know if it's playing music or just making noises. But they have all these strips on the highway. I guess they said they're testing it. I don't know if it's to keep you awake or what. But anyhow, what I was saying was, you really want to accomplish all the stuff you want to do before you turn 40, because once you turn 40, your body starts giving out. It's like stuff that used to not be a big deal. Like, let's say you fall down and you hit your knee. It's not a big deal when you're in your 20s or 30s. So once you start hitting 40, 50 years old, it doesn't heal. It's like, where it takes 3 months, 4 months, or 6 months. I'm still having problems with the soles of my feet. I think there's a disease that you have. It's like where the skin, I mean the flesh on the heel of your toe gets soft, and because the bone's pressing down on it because of all the weight. You know, I've been hurting for 6 months, so it's hard for me to even walk now, barefoot. But if I wear shoes, good shoes, I hardly notice it. But when I take my shoes off, I can't walk. It's like I can't walk. I hurt. Literally feel like you're walking on your bones, pushing down on the inside of your feet. That's how bad it hurts. And, you know, when I was doing the reno on the house, and I was tearing down one of the cabinets, I took a big, huge handle, a stick that was like a handle from a broken axe or something, and I whacked the cabinet, and then my arm got sore because I guess a muscle got pulled or something. It's been sore for like about 4 months. It's just now starting to not hurt. So do everything you want to do in your life while you're young. Whether it be, you know, pursue your business, pursue your career, pursue your dream, do your traveling, all the physical things you want to do, because you can suddenly go blind when you hit 40 or 50 years old. Not that it happens to everyone, and most people that have the issues like I do, like the eye doctor was saying, most of us, it's okay. It's not an actual tear. Although it was, something was happening, like to the retina or whatever. It was being tugged at. You know, the eye was tugging and something broke. But it didn't rip all the way off, thankfully. So, that is my advice. The really good thing about it is, though, I got a new pair of these Joe Cool shades. I don't know. I don't think they sell these anywhere. Other than, you know, you got to go to the eye doctor to get them. So, I got to keep them on because they put that stuff in your eye. You know, they put the little drops in your eye that make it so they become dilated, so you look like you're on drugs. And when they become dilated, what happens if you're outside, it's like you're literally blinded by the light. You know, everything is just... It looks like all white. Like, if you ever watch the movies and they show the dream sequences where they have the flash, that's what it looks like. But it looks like that all the time. So, that's what's going on this end. As far as the house, I have been doing more repairs to the floor. I'll do an update as soon as I get the floors done. You know, as far as patching all those holes, or maybe I'll show you what the holes look like and how I fix it. But basically, you know, that whole house, along the edges of where the floor meets the walls, a lot of it was rotted because I think of water leaks. You know, the house is 54 years old. It's only 1 year younger than me. But the edge where the floor hits the wall, a lot of it was all rotted out. And I think it's from moisture, like water drips down the side of the building and then it collects there, you know, and then the wood rots. But I was getting ready to start pulling more panels to finish that, and then we noticed the floor in one corner, it's really bad, so I'm gonna have to rip that up. Maybe I'll film that just so you guys can see what it looks like, you know, the process of discovery. But basically, it was in a corner, so it wasn't really noticeable until you know, my wife stood on it, and then it like almost went down. So I'm gonna have to go, and what I'm gonna do is cut it, and when we cut it, we get to look inside and see that, yeah, it's all gone. And typically what I do, you know, I'll do it on the video and show you, but what I do to try to repair this stuff is you have to put new beams to hold up the board you're going to put there. So you're going to put like a half inch or a 3/4 inch thick plywood as the new flooring, but you got to hold it up. So to hold it up, what I try to do, I try to cut it to the point where I can find a supporting beam that's not rotted. You know, if a support beam is rotted, then I got to try to fix the support beam. But if I can cut it to the point of a support beam, then I try to cut the floor so that half of the support beam is exposed, and I'm going to put the new board on it, you know, the new sheet. And then what I do also is on the edges that are all rotted, I take a 2x2 or 2x4. I'm out of 2x4, so I've been using the 2x2s, and I screw it into the wall, into the wood that's there that's still intact, you know, and I line it up so that the new sheet, the new board, the new flooring can sit on it and be pretty level with the old floor. So you have to make basically like a box. Think of it like a picture frame that you have to make that goes in the floor in the hole that you cut. Then you cut a piece of wood that's, you know, that same size, and you lay it in like a lid, and then you screw that down. That at least that's what I've been doing. And then afterwards, I take some silicone. Silicone? Is it called silicone or silicon? Silicone. I cover the gaps with that. They try to seal, you know, give it a good seal so that any bugs or anything doesn't try to come in. And then, you know, once we get all those holes repaired and stuff, and get the walls done, we're gonna lay the new flooring, and then that's gonna be it. The other issue I had was the house has a gas line, you know, for the stove, but I don't really want to use gas. I want to use electric. You know, some people are saying gas is more efficient, but gas to me is kind of dangerous, you know, because it can blow up. So I prefer electric, but the problem is this: electric stoves are 240 volts, and you know, the house is only, in the kitchen at least, is only wired for 120. But I was reading online and looking at YouTube and stuff. Supposedly you can make 240 volts from 120 volt. But I don't know if I want to do it myself. I'm not an electrician, even though they were showing it looked pretty easy. But you know, things always look easy when it's being done by somebody who knows what they're doing. But then when you don't know what you're doing, it's like what's easy isn't so easy, and you mess it all up. So I don't know if I'm going to try it myself, or I might hire an electrician, or get I think I have a friend who's an electrician. I might see if she can do it, you know. But basically, you can take like two 120 volt lines, you know, one outlet, but it has to be a single one, you know, no other circuit. No, and I don't know if I'd have one on that in the kitchen. It has to be its own circuit, like all by itself, not on any other circuit. And then you take those two and you combine them, and you make 240 out of 110 or 120. Now, I don't think I have any that are like that in the kitchen, which would mean you'd have to pull a whole new line. The other option is to not have a stove. Basically, I could cook using, cook mostly outside, or if I have to cook inside, I can get one of those, the little 120 volt units, or cook like as if I was, my curved Joe Cool glasses are kind of falling apart. Let me fix my glasses. Well, we're at a stoplight here. I gotta fix this thing. All right, now we're good. So I might just use 120 volts. I don't know, it'd be better to have 240, because if we end up selling the house, I don't think anyone's going to want to deal with weird stuff. They want to have real appliances, like a 120 volt oven. So I may pay an electrician, hire an electrician, a qualified electrician, to pull a line that's 240 volts, or make a 240 volt line, but that can get expensive. But have them pull a line to the kitchen and make me a 240 volt outlet for the oven and the stove. That way the house is like normal, not some weird stuff. Or the other option is just go ahead and give in and get gas. But then I have to, I have to pay for the gas company. What I'm trying to do basically, I'm trying to make it so that I can, the house is kind of semi off grid. It's like we're in a gridded neighborhood and the house is on the grid and I'm paying for the grid, but I'm trying to disconnect some of it, like be partially off grid. I think if you go totally off grid, the city gets mad. And they come and give you a hard time. But if you pay for the utilities and you only use a little bit of it, and you can use like off-grid stuff, you can save some money. So I could have some solar, more solar installed, just pay minimal for the, basically to run big things like the stove or the refrigerator and the air conditioner. But things like the TV or the fans or the lights, they are possibly can be run off a small solar power system. And that could save me as much as maybe 1/3 to 1/2 of my electric bill. So, and if I don't have to run air conditioning, then it saves a lot of the electric bill, maybe 2/3 of the electric bill, So the bill can be pretty low. Like my bill the last month was only like $62. And that was with me running air conditioning, So it was like not bad. I didn't run it nonstop. I ran it when I needed to, but it's been cooling down, so I haven't been having to run it as much. Some people say, well, gas is pretty cheap, and if you get a line from the city, that's even better. Yeah, but I'm trying to make it so that I can cook off electricity. I'm trying to go electrical as much as possible because electricity I can easily generate, with solar panels, or even I might try wind turbine, although we don't really get, as much wind here as you would like in a mountain area or in the desert or something. We get lots of sun though in Florida, so solar might be the way to go, totally. So I'm trying to hook up small little solar systems instead of one big giant expensive one. Possibly buying used solar panels like I've been buying, using it on the RV, and having it so that it's not an expensive system. Right now, my house doesn't have any solar on it, but I'm getting solar from the RV. The RV has about 1,000 watts of solar, which is pretty good. My calculations are really, if you want to run a house and have it somewhat usable, normal, like without having to worry about electric and stuff like that, you probably need a minimum of 2,000 watts of solar panels. And I only have about 200 amp hours, 200 or 300 amp hours of battery life. You really need about 400 amp hours or more of storage. See, I have I think about I don't know if it's 400. I probably have about 400 battery. Yeah, because each battery is about 100 amp hours. So I had 4 batteries. So that's like 400 amp hours, but only 200 usable. But it's even less than that because they're old batteries now. They were in the RV for like 2 years. So they're lead acid. So you can't even max out the usage. You can only use like half of the power. So those batteries aren't really doing that well. They're kind of not functioning as good as they used to. So, and I think at one time I let them run too low. So when you let the lead acid battery run lower than it should, you actually destroy the batteries, which I think I did to all 4 or 5 of them that I have hooked up. But I don't want to throw them away because they're still holding a charge, just not maximum charge. But for now, I'm using them to run, some stuff at the house, lights and stuff. And during the daytime, though, see, here's the thing. During the daytime, with the sun out, you could run a lot of electrical stuff for free, basically. So with the solar system, even with my 1,000 watts, I can run probably air conditioning. Well, I can't fully run. I need 1,500 or 1,600 watts to run air conditioning nonstop. But with the batteries, I can run air conditioning for part of the day, and then shut off the air conditioning, and then let the system recharge. And the reason for that is I actually use batteries right now to run lights and stuff at night. So, you know, I'm using lights, especially LED lights, you know, because it's not a high power draw, and it's something that's actually, you know, having lights is kind of a big deal. It's kind of important to be able to see, and having the ability to have bright lights everywhere and not have to pay for it is like awesome. So I'll be sharing with you those videos if you guys are interested. Let me know in the comments, and then I will show you the setup and what I did. And if you've seen me do the RV, then you kind of know how it was set up. It was really cheap. You know, I didn't buy like the big huge kits. I didn't even buy cables. I just got like, what is it? It was like 10 gauge wiring. Made my own wires and stuff. I'll show you how to do it on the cheap, and you know, you can buy used solar panels. But basically, I'm thinking for probably under $2,000 total. Let me think. 2,000. Yeah, probably under $2,000. You could have a nice, probably 1,600 to 200 watt. I mean, not 200, 2,000 watt solar power system. I don't know what's going on with these cars here. 2,000 watt solar system with at least 400 or I'm going to try to upgrade to 600 amp hours. I think 600 amp hours might be enough for me to, 400 amp hours of usable power might be enough for me to run the house. I think, I don't know about the houses that are off-grid capable, you know, that pretty much run. I think they have at least 1,000 or 2,000 amp hours of battery storage. That's where the expense is right now, I think, on solar. The panels have gotten like cheaper, you know, more affordable, especially if you go use panels. They're really cheap now. But battery is where we got a problem. Batteries are still expensive. And if you go with the new batteries, you know, the lithium batteries and stuff, they're mega expensive. I can't afford them. You know, people would be paying $1,000 or whatever for one battery. Or they'll pay like, I think what is it, like $200 to $400 for one battery. I pay like about 120 bucks for a battery. But the thing is, it takes more space, and it may not last as long as a lithium ion, and you can't let it drain for more than half. So there's some benefits to using the more expensive batteries. They're just so expensive though. And if you're going cheap like me, you know, it's just cheaper to get regular lead acid. We'll see though, you know. And the system is so homemade, you know, it's like I don't have high end anything. Everything's all cheap, low end. But if it works, that's all that really matters, right? Anyhow, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm blabbering. I'm gonna let you go, and hopefully in the next video you'll see more updates to the house, or maybe I'll give you a tour of what we got going on right now with the power systems and whatnot. But I think it might be better to wait until the house is done and then show you the power system in action. The way I've got it set up, I'm trying to make it so that I can run the air conditioner, not all of the whole, because the house is, you know, instead of central air, we're putting like window units on, you know, the major rooms. But I'm trying to set it so that I can run the air conditioning for the living room off solar. But it wouldn't be able to run non-stop just because my battery doesn't charge. You know, the battery bank is only like 200 or 300 usable amp hours, and it would drain out real fast. And the solar panels are only 1,000 watts total. So it's not enough to run the air conditioner without drawing battery power to offset, you know, the shortage from the solar panels. But if I have enough battery storage, what I could do is set the AC to come on part of the time and then shut off to let the battery charge up a little bit, and then come on again and then shut off. So the AC would come on, not non-stop, but come on enough to cool the house, and then shut off, you know, to let the battery charge up, and come back on, and then shut off again or whatever, and let the battery charge overnight. I mean, you know, charge for the night. That would be the the thing I would want to do is have it so that the AC should shut off and let the battery charge fully, so that at night I can run all my lights and everything else off the stored power. But that's the thing about using solar, is that you really want to take advantage of the sun. So you start planning, like doing things when the sun is up, you know. So you want to run all your appliances and stuff when the sun is up, not when it's down. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope to see you on the next video. I haven't made it yet. So you'll see me after I make the video. Until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe. Bye-bye now.